welcome to Detective Comics Before Batman. It is a Slam Bradley episode, as we know, and this is going to be Slam Bradley's story that was in Detective Comics number 4 from June of 1937, a story that's called Slam Bradley, The Hollywood Murders. It's written by Jerry Siegel, pencils and inks by Joe Shuster, who's back after taking a break last issue. And this is a pretty wacky deal. I mean, really, the setup is that Slam and Shorty are going to go off to Hollywood to be stuntmen, but we have to get to that. And how are we going to get to that? Well, there is hijinks to be had. First off, you start with Slam flexing while his hype yes man Shorty yells, "Oh boy, who says we ain't tough?" to nobody in particular. I think that Slam enjoys this, probably walks around flexing, and Shorty has to come up with, just stupid things to say each time. And so you go with that, and it says the Hollywood Murders, hired by the movies as stuntmen, Slam and Shorty pull a couple unexpected stunts of their own when murder stalks their studio. And this gets a little convoluted. It gets a little more convoluted than it should. But one thing, Shuster being back on art, he seems to forget the idea of having ripped shirts. That's a rule here. That's one of the biggest rules, is that Slam has to fight, but he also needs the shirt to rip off. That doesn't happen, though. He's bare-chested a lot in this, and I think Shorty loves every minute of it. Shorty has a big smile on his face every time it happens. But to start off, we end up having a crazy scene that says only a maniac or Slam Bradley would have attempted it, uncovering definite proof that a circus trapeze artist is a wanted murderer. Slam pursues his man to the very tip of the trapeze platform itself. When his prey swings out into space in a wild attempt to escape, Slam calmly launches himself in pursuit. You have this guy, this trapeze artist, "Get away from me." Slam's like, "I'm not going to get away from you." Now, all this is going on while it appears the circus is in town and the place is packed. So these people are getting the craziest show. I don't know how they could think that it's the real show, though, because you have the trapeze artist who's in a yellow tank top and red shorts. Short shorts, I'll tell you. And Slam is just in his suit, coat and tie, just ending up chasing down the trapeze artist who runs up the ladder to the platform. Slam follows him. The guy jumps on the trapeze. Slam follows him, ends up jumping and grabbing the guy by the foot. The guy starts yelling, "Get off of me. Get off my foot." Slam actually climbs up him to get to the trapeze so that he can grab onto it so he can sock this guy right in the face. I think that he definitely would have fallen over and out and done and died, but he didn't because somehow Slam slings him over his shoulder, gets to the platform, and he has caught his man. This is the big thing in town, and everybody loves it. Now, I will tell you, this is the first issue that does tell you that that town is Cleveland, Ohio, the home of Siegel and Shuster. So that makes sense, and that is pretty cool. Well, you end up the next day, Shorty is fired up. He comes running into Slam's office, says, "Oh my God, we're heroes, we're famous. This is the best." Now, Shorty throughout this will do a lot of "we are" and "we did." To a point, he ends up kind of solving all this again, but the physical stuff, not really his thing. The physical challenge, not his deal. So Slam just says, "Oh, let me see." And there is the front page news. "Daring detective defies death. Captures killer after fantastic chase." Wow, this is from the news press in Cleveland, Ohio, but it must be national news because word has gotten around. And Slam, who looks pissed off when Shorty comes in with this paper, actually has been waiting to show Shorty something of his own, and it is a telegram. And you end up having Slam look so happy to show this, and Shorty's so excited. He's so surprised and excited that his hat flies off. It flies off his head for no reason, just like the old movies. And so you get a telegram from Stupendous Film Studios in Hollywood, California. And it's to Slam Bradley, Cleveland, Ohio. "Come to our studios at once and bring partner with you. Stop. Have job as stuntman for both of you. Stop. Terrell Desmond, manager. So this is the manager at Stupendous Film Studios who sent them a telegram. Obviously, they have seen the big news and saw this trap. How he could see it, he wouldn't, but read the news story, but still kind of weird. But they're going to go off to Hollywood because, Shorty says, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to go? And Slam starts, again, being just an asshole and says, do we go? Does water flow downhill? Is there snow at the North Pole? Does the sun rise in the east? Does it set in the west? And I want Shorty to be tapping his foot like Sonic. Like, all right, tell me, is this what we're doing? He says, of course. The answer is yes. Now let's go and get on this train and get ourselves to Hollywood. And they are so excited that even the train itself, it says from the narration, is singing as it goes along the rails, happy to go to movie land. And they end up getting to Hollywood, get off of the train, and they're greeted by a chauffeur with a car from Stupendous Studios. And they're like, hey, you that Slam Bradley and that Shorty guy? Yes, I am Slam Bradley, and this is indeed that Shorty guy. All right, well, I have a car waiting for you to take you to Stupendous Films. Please follow. And they get in the car. It's a fancy car. Shorty thinks it's the greatest. He'll hype anything, but he says, oh my, this is a great car. What class? And Slam, again, because he's a jerk, has to put him in his place. Don't let my fame go to your head, Shorty. And Shorty's like, you got me there. So they're driving along, probably looking at the sights, seeing and all of a sudden Slam just starts choking out the chauffeur. No reason said. He is putting him in the sleeper hold. While the guy's still driving, they're just driving down the road. Slam is choking him out. Shorty has no idea what's going on, yells, hey, what's the idea? What did he do? He's just driving the car. Well, Slam ends up saying, hey, I know the lay of this town. You don't realize, but Tinseltown is Slam Bradley town, and I know that this driver is going the wrong way. Now, in my mind, it'd be funny that he's gotten wrong in his mind where Stupendous Studios is, or this guy has to go and stop home quick to give his mom the medicines. I don't, some sort of deal, but that's not the case. And Slam ends up saying, I bet you he has a gun, or I'm Greta Garbo's understudy. Greta Garbo, we always love the pop culture references in the deal, and you always want to know, how dated will they get? Well, there you go. I like Greta Garbo, but still, that is the pop culture reference there. They end up choking the guy out. The car stops, and they let him go. Slam just lets him go, which Shorty doesn't understand. So why are you letting him go? Why are you letting him scram like that? We came to Hollywood to relax. I don't need that nonsense. I already choked them out a bit, right? I ended up kind of fighting them, and this guy just runs off. Now, if they didn't do that, the issue's over because everything's solved, because you'll see who this chauffeur ends up being and how you find out who it is. It's just nonsense. Well, they end up going and then meeting Mr. Desmond. Mr. Desmond is the head or the manager, again, who sent them the telegram. He's the manager of the studio, and he has the jobs for him and says, okay, you're going to be stuntman. Hey, Slam, you're going to go and you're going to be the stunt double on the movie Jungle Man to the star with the unfortunate name of Larry Gary. Larry Gary needs a stuntman because we'll see, Larry Gary's a little old. Larry Gary's also a jerk. He's worse than Slam. I mean, he is.
How dare you?
But Shorty says, well, what about me? What am I going to do? What am I going to be a stunt double? And you end up having Mr. Desmond say, well, looking at you, I'm going to send you over to the comedy studio. Now, he says this as if, all right, well, you're just going to go off and but when he gets to the comedy studio, you do see on a side deal in one panel that Shorty is definitely the stunt man for a guy who's doing a comedy movie, almost like a W.C. Fields looking guy. This guy is just Shorty, but like 2 feet taller. They don't even make it seem like they're not doppelgangers. It's so ridiculous. But before we do have that, Slam goes over to, again, the unfortunately named Larry Gary. He's introduced to Larry Gary by Desmond. And this Larry Gary is a jerk. Just says, hey, I don't care who the hell you are. Just don't look at the camera because I'm the star. Not you, buddy. Well, while this is going on, you end up having Shorty. He's walking over to the comedy studio. Oh, my God, here, there. I'm so glad we're not in that crap hole Cleveland because there's tons of gangsters there. I hate these gangsters. They're always trying to kill me. And all of a sudden, a knife flies through his hat and pins his hat to the wall. And oh, my God, somebody is trying to kill me. I mean, I brought the crap from Cleveland to Hollywood, I guess. He goes running to tell Slam and Mr. Desmond, oh, my God, somebody's trying to kill me. They threw a dagger at me. And everybody laughs and says it must be a practical joke. Oh, you know, we're always playing gags like that, like gags like the throw the dagger through the hat gag and then pin it to the wall. Stick around there, buddy. And they'll laugh at him. He just walks away. He goes back to the comedy studio. Well, you do have this fight going on with the Larry Gary, the Jungle Man, and Slam. And Slam's pissed. This guy ends up talking shit to him, and he does not like it. And you end up, he says, hey, listen, buddy, I don't like your tone. And you know what? I won't be looking at the camera, but you won't either when I spin your neck around and you're dead. And then grabs this guy. This is the star of the movie. This is the guy who is the star. He grabs this guy and puts him under his arm and then jumps up and grabs a vine and then just seems to be swinging back and forth on the set while talking trash to Larry Gary. And also where the narration says that people are secretly amused. Now, this tells me that Larry Gary is a piece of crap. He is probably gets handsy with the talent. He's probably just the worst of the worst because they think it's funny. But really, all Slam's doing is he's swinging back and forth with the guy. They're both dressed like Tarzan at this one point. Now, while that's going on, you do see, and the narration says, somebody up above is cutting through this vine that they're swinging on, and it does end up breaking. Now, this would probably, and they're up high. It's going to kill both Slam and Larry Gary, the star of the picture, but Slam is pretty good and grabs onto another vine. While this is going on, though, I do have to point out, it does appear that they're filming this scene for multiple cameras for no reason because it's Jungle Man, not Jungle Men, and Slam is just swinging back and forth talking crap on Larry Gary. And I do believe that the Jungle Man series of films now is canceled because Slam and his nonsense has put them over budget. I mean, he's just swinging around, almost killing the star of the show. And I do believe also Slam should be arrested or at least shown the door. But no, they don't care. Well, we go then quickly to old Shorty, who's maybe he's going to do better. Maybe he's not going to cause as many problems. Well, he is told by the guy directing this comedy movie, hey, what I need you to do is stick your head through the door and you'll get hit with a lemon pie right in the face, right in the kisser. You know, classic vaudeville move here. Well, Shorty, because again, they're just jerks. You end up this is like their dream jobs. They're getting paid money to do nothing but goof off and things. And he doesn't like it. Shorty, he's a method actor. He doesn't like lemon pies, he says. And it's funny, too, the verbiage here, because there is something that must have changed the phrasing of this, because instead of him saying, I don't like lemon pies, that's my pet peeve, he says, I don't like lemon pies, that's my pet hate. Seems weird, but he does it anyway. He goes, all right, you're paying me, so I'm going to do this. He sticks his head through the door and gets hit by the lemon pie. And he's out cold, and he's almost dead because the lemon pie ended up having a lead bar in it. The old lead bar in the lemon pie gag to go with the dagger through the hat gag. They are hilarious in Hollywood. Well, this seems like something a little more where they're concerned. You end up, and that's where you see this big doppelganger version of Shorty who just is ugly. Well, all of this going on, you end up having Slam and Shorty pissed. They have been brought to Hollywood and somebody is screwing with them, even though Slam kind of, his deal was more him setting it up. Poor Shorty, though, he just put his head through a door, also just walking and got the dagger. So they storm into Mr. Bentley, the president of the movie studio. This is the president. Remember, we had Mr. Desmond is the manager. He he's the one who called and sent the telegram to Slam and Shorty to come be stuntmen, but they're going above him. They're going right to the president of the studio. I don't know what they're going to tell him. They're going to bust in and say, hey, somebody tried to hit me with a lead bar. I get that the president of the studio, number one, would say, who are you? And then continue with, why are you here? And get the hell out. Well, they go in, and as they are going in, Mr. Bentley's secretary is there, and she says, oh my God, Mr. Bentley isn't in. I told you this. And you end up having Slam and Shorty just throw so much shade at her. One side, sister. We're beyond the age where we believe in your fairy tales. And she's just like, what? What are you talking? He's not in there. Yeah, well, looks like that gal, she's wrong. And Shorty's like, yeah, I know she's wrong. Let's go in. And they get into the office and he's not there. And so they're like, yep, I guess she was telling the truth. She wasn't stringing us after all. And then out of nowhere, Slam just says, well, I'm still going to go through this door over here, though. Shorty says, why? That's a closet door. Slam seems, at this point, it seems like Slam thinks this is like a door to La La Land or something. He's going to go off to Gumdrop Lane. He's like, no, we got to go through this door. And so when they open it, the dead body, Bentley, comes out and just falls on him.
Where's the beef?
There's the beef. They end up, oh my God, Bentley wasn't in because he's dead. So the body just falls down and they're like, he's dead. He's stone dead. Now, out of nowhere, but not nowhere, it comes through the door. So obviously had to go through past the secretary, through the office into here because there's only that one door, it seems. Comes a masked guy in a trench coat and a gun. And says, yep, Bentley's dead. You're going to follow him in a few seconds. Well, you end up catching Slam Bradley off guard. What are you going to get? You're probably going to get a ripped shirt, his ripped shirt, and you're probably going to get slugged a couple times. You're probably going to get some crazy comment from Shorty. Maybe Shorty might do something where he accidentally knocks you down, but Slam, he's a tough guy. He doesn't care if you have a gun. He's going to go after you. Here he does something a little odd. He ends up, because he is caught by surprise, they don't have any weapons, but with Slam Bradley, isn't a shoe a weapon? He takes his shoe off and throws it at the guy. It's like a horror movie or something when you run and you're throwing the shoes. He throws the shoe at the guy and pretty much knocks him down. And then somehow has the shoe back on. But that's not a big concern. What you do end up happening in such a weird progression of, where furniture is, where doors are, where walls are, you end up where they all jump for cover because, Slam ends up hitting the guy with the shoe. He falls down and he runs behind a chair. Slam runs behind another chair. Shorty hides under the desk. And all this stuff going on. Now, in this, I do have to point out that you do see there is a phone, an old-time phone. I'm talking where you have the speaker as the one part and then the other thing that you put up to the earpiece, and then you talk into the deal, like the real old-time deal, but you end up seeing the receiver deal, the earpiece fall off at this point, which is important as we go. But you end up having them all hidden. And so everybody's looking, where's the other guy? Where's Shorty? Okay, he's under the desk. I'm here. Oh no, where did Slam get? Now I'm doing the voice of the bad guy, the hooded gentleman with the trench coat. And Slam has snuck up behind him and kicks him right in the ass. He ends up kicking him in the ass. So this guy flies forward, hits his head on the desk, drops the gun, but then just gets up and runs away. Now, while this is going on, Shorty is definitely under the desk, away from the door. So when this guy hits his head, where the masked villain hits his head, kind of gets his wits, seems to run by Slam, maybe, but Slam then takes chase, somehow trips over Shorty, who shouldn't be where he is here. I don't know what he did, but yeah, Slam starts yelling at Shorty, "What are you doing? You're always in the way, you jerk." And Shorty looks like he's going to cry. I feel sad for Shorty. He's like, "Oh gosh, Slam, I didn't mean it. I guess he got away." And so Slam says, "Well, I'm going to go and talk to that secretary again. You stay with the dead body. You stay with Bentley's dead body." Now, Shorty, he gets a little nervous babysitting a dead body. So to pass the time, he gets out the yearbook for the studio. It is the Stupendous Film Annual book where you can go and look at, oh, look, they had this lady in that picture and that guy in that picture. You just have a whole deal of what they did that year. You know, stupendous films. They're big, you know. So he ends up, that's not enough for Shorty, though. He's not just going to page through this book. He is going to get a pencil, and now he's going to put mustaches and goatees on all of the people in the book. Now, this is just explained, and it's not even something I'm making up. It is explained that he's kind of goofing off. He's goofing off, and he's there. It says, nervous at having to keep a corpse company, Shorty flips the pages of the Stupendous Film Annual and abstractedly plays with a pencil. Suddenly, well, he's put a mustache on an actress. He puts a big, giant, like, handlebar mustache, like almost like a Raleigh Fingers type mustache on one guy. And then we get to Terrell Desmond, and that is the fella who was the guy who greeted them. He was the guy who invited them to Hollywood to be stuntmen. And Shorty, just out of nowhere, he draws a little pencil-thin mustache there, a little goatee. It looks like almost like the devil combo that he gives this deal. And then looks and goes, oh my God, Desmond was the chauffeur. And we go all the way back to that part where they got to Hollywood and the chauffeur was waiting for them. It was Terrell Desmond in disguise. But why would Desmond do that? He's the one who invited them there. Well, Shorty, who has really, I mean, give props to Shorty. He's the one who's been solving all of these mysteries throughout. Yes, Slam ends up, doing the fist questions, but Shorty does the mystery answers. He ends up doing it all the time, and he does it again. He's actually figured out that Desmond must be the chauffeur because, he's doing a little doodling. Well, then he picks up a notebook from the desk of Bentley, the studio head. And on there, he can see the indent of what was a telegram that said, hurry here at once. Stop. Have received threatening letters. Signed, Bentley. So, and this is supposedly was going to Slam and Shorty. So Shorty figures it out. This is it. Okay. Bentley was getting threatened. So he sent a telegram to me and Slam. Well, in the meantime, Desmond must be the one who's threatening him and ends up sending another telegram that somehow's faster and gets to them beforehand. But the Bentley one was sent but never got there. He got lost in the shuffle somehow. And we being Slam and Shorty, ended up getting Desmond's telegraph and came off where Desmond was going to be waiting for them to kill them. That's why he picked them up as the chauffeur. So basically, Shorty doodling in the yearbook and then just seeing the indent on the deal. He's figured out that indeed Desmond was the killer, killed Bentley. They don't know why. Well, Desmond out of nowhere, he just shows up again. And how is he showing up? Because there's that one door, and that door is where the secretary is, and it's also where Slam Bradley is at this moment. And he never passed them. It wasn't even like, oh, it's me, Desmond, I'm heading in there. He just materializes. And if you weren't paying attention, you would have thought that the dead had risen and Bentley come to play. But nope, it's Desmond who says, yep, I killed Bentley. He was going to fire me. Never find out. Again, He's the manager of a studio, handsy, and says to Shorty, it's your turn. Shorty says, can we skip my turn? And but he's not going to skip his turn. But here's what you have going on. You have a gun being pointed at Shorty from Desmond. He can't yell out. Slam's right outside, but he can't yell to him or he'll get shot. And if he does any sort of weird moves, he'll get shot. So he ends up, remember, I pointed out that the receiver had fallen off, or the earpiece had fallen off of the phone, which makes it a live deal. There is a live line going right there. And so Shorty just starts shit-talking Slam. He is yelling into the direction of the phone. Slam Bradley's a dope and a deadhead. That's pretty much his shade. And Slam, being a deadhead, I would think he's a Sugar Magnolia fan of all the songs, right? The deadhead. So you end up with this going on. And outside then, the secretary, which it doesn't seem as if Slam is talking to her at all, she's at the switchboard and hears this. And to her, I mean, this is like 1937 Jerky Boys going on. I mean, this is like a crank call where, oh my God, and she says, oh, you should hear what your partner's calling you, the names that he's calling you. Slam gets pissed. I'm going to go in and I'm going to kill that moron. I'm like, really? He's so mean to Shorty. He busts in expecting to punch Shorty out and sees that Desmond has Shorty at the window with a gun to Shorty's head. And, now we know. And this is where Slam realizes, okay, now I've even been able to figure out that Desmond is the one behind all this nonsense. Desmond jumps out of the window and then goes and what they say is jumps into the racing car that was on the movie set. Well, thank God there's two, because Slam just jumps out the window right into the car and goes. And it's funny, one guy's like running up and, hey, what's the idea? I'll write you a letter. He's like, I don't need a letter. I'm asking you what the deal is. Get out of my car. But they take off. And it says, citizens of Beverly Hills are treated to the wildest exhibition of driving they'd ever seen. I guess until, James Dean comes along. Right? Hi-oh! And they say two apparent madmen careen their cars around corners in a deadly chase that disregards all traffic and common sense laws. The common sense laws are being broken. Now, what is going on here is they are driving down what appears to be a mountain with just, that cliff-type road that spins around the outside of the mountain. And while they're doing this, Slam, because of this, realizes, okay, well, we're up here. When we go around the next bit, we're down there. So what I should do is just launch this car off of the side of the mountain, off of this cliff face, down onto the road below, and then it'll crash there, and, Desmond will have to slam on the brakes, and then I'll beat the crap out of him. That's pretty much the plan here. Now, to do this, Slam has to jump out of the car as it goes, and it looks like there is no possible way that Slam should ever have been able to survive this, but he's a stuntman, and it ends up working. You end up having Desmond go around, and luckily for Shorty, who's driving with him with a gun on him, Desmond just doesn't crash into the car, which there's no way he wouldn't have, so it doesn't make any sense. But you end up then where Slam, in my mind, has probably broken his leg, a hip, and is knocked out unconscious, is not there right away. And Desmond gets out of the car and pretty much says to Shorty, you think you're going to escape? I'm going to bash your skull in. And he's going to bash his skull in. I don't know if he has a wrench, a ratchet, maybe a spatula, or possibly a flashlight. I don't know. It's one of them, if not all the above. It's one of those crazy 1937 Swiss Army ratchet, pipe spatulas. They were very popular back in the day. Well, he's going to do this, and Slam, obviously, is going to stop him. Slam, though, he stops him by, looks like he launches himself again off the cliff to a point where he is definitely going to just face plant. But then the next panel, he's just standing there and socks Desmond upside the head, where Shorty, Desmond had Shorty by the collar, so there'd be no way, but he's gone then. And yeah, you end up where he knocks out Desmond. They take him downtown, and Desmond confesses to killing Bentley and trying to kill both Shorty and Slam Bradley. So yes, another case solved, but we're not over yet, because a new studio head has been hired. You gotta have, the next guy in command come up and do this. And this guy, he's now the president of the studio. And the minute that he gets the job, it's like Tanya when she gets money. It's burning a hole in his pocket. He's got to spend it because he offers Slam and Shorty both $100,000 a year contracts. He's going to pay both of them. Shorty, who seems to have the job of getting hidden by pies, but yeah, might have lead in them, but hey, still, $100,000 for both of them. They're rich. This is 1937, please. And they turn it down. You know why they turn it down? Because they don't want the ladies oogling them on the screen. They say they're going to charm the pants out of the ladies in person, and I believe in about a year and a half, both will be in jail. That's what I say. They have to be. They're going to go charm those ladies. And he's like, right, Shorty? I think Shorty's like, I don't care anymore about you, buddy. I've been solving all the mysteries, number one. I'm the one who gets a lot of the beating. I want the 100,000. I want a payday here, my man. But nope, they both say, nope, we're not going to get involved. We don't want your $100,000 each. What do you think we are? Actors or something? Oh, my. Yeah, so they turn it down. And I don't know. You end up having this guy go, and he then offers the contract to the next person in line, and that, my friends, was Jimmy Stewart. See, I'm just like, and that's the rest of the story. It's not, because that's all made up, but I like to pretend. I'm getting very tired. It's very, very late. And you end with the hope that the next issue is going to be great. And this one, I didn't think there was that much to laugh at. There was, actually, but it says, complete next issue. Now get this. Get this one. The tensest, goofiest, most amazing release of Slam Bradley yet offered. Desperate adventure and inspired comedy dodge the footsteps of our two unorthodox madcaps as they pull the most surprising move they've tried yet. Attending elementary school. Oh my God. You know that Shorty is, oh my goodness. Teachers, brats, gangsters, and gals contribute to a merry chase. And when the startling climax is reached, you'll howl with surprise. That's like every time Tanya has a fine. It's always startling. Don't miss it. Oh my.
Sassy!
It's stunning. It's humorous. And it's in the next issue of Detective Comics. And that ends that issue. And you can tell already by this fourth deal that Shorty he must have become a hit. People must really, and the kids must really dig Shorty because he's getting a lot of page time. He's doing a lot of the solving. He's doing a lot of what ends up, kind of being Hail Marys every time, but it ends up looking like the smart stuff is through him, where Slam just keeps kind of getting himself out of the way. You ended up having the last one when they're at the fair where he's just like, hey, you go and have fun there, Shorty. I'm going to walk around. He disappeared for a while. In this one, he ends up I'm going to go talk to the secretary, which he didn't seem to be, but he gets him out of the way then as well. And yeah, I think that the whole deal of Slam being that much of a real piece of crap kind of has been pushed aside for us to get more Shorty. And that's a good thing, though. The piece of crap stuff, it just would make you shake your head. But getting hit with a lemon pie, that's his pet hate, that ends up having a lead bar in it, Shorty is solid gold. I don't care if that is lead, because he's gold, baby. He is gold. Oh my, I was trying to hit that and I was having problems. But that is it. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Detective Before Batman, and we'll continue on. We have a bunch more episodes. It's years before we get to the end of this. And I really do hope that the next episode and the next issue going to elementary school is going to be classic as it seems to, kind of promise. But that is it. You can tell. I can't even talk anymore. It's 3:30 in the morning. I got to go to bed. So everybody, thanks bunches. I'll talk to you soon.